Hey guys, it's Caisha again. Welcome to the Healing Guide for Heroic Baleroc. Okay, sorry, I had to add some levity to this guide since I absolutely despise this boss. However, I am here to assuage your fears and hopefully guide you through to many peaceful nights of slumber after you kill him. This is the one boss I rage over, and for good reason. But since the nerf, I imagine it will be a much easier fight. To begin with, I bring 5 healers. You can try it with 6 since the HP nerf, but 5 should be adequate. The emphasis should be placed on Disc Priests and Holy Paladins, with Holy Priests and Shamans being next, and Resto Druids being last. This is the one fight where it is not that great to be a Resto Druid, as healing on this fight is mainly through casted spells. The Baleroc fight is mostly about healers doing their job, and everyone goes, well, duh! But this fight requires very open communication between the healers and the tanks, as well as the ability to be fluid in your roles. I had to give more commands over mumble in this fight than in any other since the release of Tier 11 content with the expansion. Essentially, Baleroc is a 2-tank fight. One tank will only be taking Decimation Blades, while the other is the main tank. The Decimation tank will be the one to pull the boss. He tanks it until the health is over 250k, which is usually 2 buffs, at which point the other tank will taunt. This usually coincides with the Shards of Torment or crystal spawning. There will always be 1 melee and 1 ranged crystal. Healers must not stand anywhere near the crystal when it spawns, and ranged melee must be quick to start absorbing the pulses and gaining stacks of torment. If a healer takes a stack of torment accidentally, then they will spend the next minute with tormented, which decreases healing by 50% and makes your character glow black and purple. Ranged and melee will rotate who takes the crystals. We personally swapped at 8 or 9, and must not mess up the rotation or take more stacks than necessary. Tell them to not be heroes. We had a Shadow Priest take the entire first crystal, with the help of Hand of Sacrifice and Dispersion, and lots of healing. There will also be a new mechanic in Heroic called Countdown, which picks 2 people much like Blood Queen Lanathiel's mechanic, and you must run to the person to get it removed before you blow up. We ran to the center target. If you get Countdown, the chances are that you will probably get tormented, and that is pretty unavoidable, unfortunately. Be careful as you run to not run near anyone with tormented, but you have to get right on top of them to get the debuff, but you still need to be cautious. Okay, so now let's focus on the healing rotation that is so crucial in the fight. In the beginning, all healers will be focused on the initial tank. Once that first crystal spawns, then the Holy Paladins will begin to heal the Shadow Priestess, taking the entire crystal. They focus only on the Shadow Priest so they can build up stacks much faster. Another healer will focus on people who are taking the other crystal. The remaining 2 healers will continue to heal tanks. They spam heals on them, regardless of mana, because you can build it up later, until the Shadow Priest is done with the crystal. Around that time, the Pallies should have around 60 to 70 stacks. Once that happens, the Pallies will start healing the tanks 100% of the time for the entire fight. The 2 healers that have been healing the tanks since the beginning will begin to heal Torment Soakers. You will have 1 healer per ranged and 1 healer per melee soaker. And the healer that was healing the other Torment with the Pallies will continue to build stacks until they too have reached 70 or 80 stacks of Torment. Stacks of Torment are important for tank healers, since once you heal the tank, all of those stacks are converted into a buff for healing, but it only works on the tanks. This lasts at 15 seconds, but since the Pallies and Disc Priests should be on the tanks 100% after they have 70 stacks, the duration doesn't matter so much. The 2 remaining healers, which are usually the Druid or the Shaman, will continue to heal the Torment Soakers for the rest of the fight. Boring, yes, but crucial. Healers will get tormented at some point, decreasing their healing by 50%. Usually it's because they get Countdown, but sometimes it's because someone runs by them with it, or they're in a bad spot. You need to try to minimize this by having set places in the range camp for healers. You should keep movement to a minimum in this fight, so when people have Countdown, they can weave a path through you. It sounds extremely complicated, but the important thing is to always have Pallies and Disc Priests on tanks, and therefore they need to build up their stacks as fast as possible. You must have good communication with your healers. For months behind, we actually separated the melee, ranged, and healers into separate channels for this fight, since there was so much need for communication in all the groups. The tanks stayed with the healers. Especially in the case of healers getting tormented, other healers might have to help out with healings for a while on whatever target they were healing. For example, in my kill video, both my pallies got tormented at the same time. I had the Disc Priest swap early to help out, and then once it was gone, she went back to building stacks to 70. It's almost easier to get tormented early in the fight with the strategy we use, but you can't control when healers get it. Something that our tanks did to help with their swaps for Decimation Blade is if the main tank has full HP when the Decimation Blade begins, he can take the very first hit of it, at which point the other tank must taunt immediately to take the rest of them. This proved to be very useful for us, but please make sure that your tanks fully understand what you're asking of them. I think I hit most of the issues we saw, and I so very much hope that you do not have as much trouble as we did pre-nerf with this boss. Our first kill was with the week before the nerf, and while it's easier now, we still had the system down. Good luck, guys. Don't stress if it